fascinated by this story. Can you give us just the background to what happened? Were you, was it all set up that you were going to be working with this talent agency at first?
Well, they reached out to me and said, we love your work. We've been following you for, I don't know if it was months, watching your stand-up, your videos. And then a few months went by. They reached out again, and I took the call and was like, all right, here we go. Going to get my my chance to audition for movies and live out my dream. And they're like, everything checks out except your skin color. And I actually wasn't shocked. This happens all the time. It's been happening for 9 years. So I just hit record on my, I was sitting at my podcast desk, and I said, can you say that again a little slower into the camera? And I had him repeat it. I said, you love me. Yes. You think I'm, you think I'm fit for the job, that I can, be a successful actor? Yes. But you won't work with me because I'm white? Yes. All right, got it. Thanks so much. We'll be in
that's
touch.
very surprising, because normally when these kind of things happen, they don't say it explicitly to your face. They'll come up with some... But also, didn't they know that you were white? They'd been watching your videos. Had they been doing it blindfold? What's going on?
Well, the problem is my dad is white, but my mom is actually more beige. We're from southern Connecticut. It's near the border of Connecticut and New York, so it's kind of hard to tell. Yes, they knew I was white. Of course they did, but they caved to the woke ideology. I feel bad for them. They didn't want to do it, but the movie studios are telling the casting directors. The casting directors tell the agents, and everybody's complicit. And that's just the way it goes now. And nobody seems to want to talk about it.
But my understanding is that discrimination on the basis of race is illegal. Why is it you think people just ignore that particular law?
There's all sorts of reasons. The people will say, white people have had your time. You guys have had it great. And I'm going, I just got to the party. I haven't, I'm 5'2". I can't even ride a roller coaster legally. Life is not a pile of, flowers and money for me at the moment. So, everybody gets a fair shot.
And how widespread do you think this problem is? I mean, you're talking about your particular experience, but do you think there are lots of comics out there who are experiencing this kind of thing?
I've received, I'd say, upwards of 500 messages just on Instagram alone. This happened to me. I just didn't get it recorded. They tell me at comedy clubs. I mean, I've lost several jobs where they just tell me on the phone. I've gotten... one of my last acting agents just emailed and said, tough out there for white dudes, and then remove me from the roster. But, this one I got on tape. That's the difference.
But it's so shocking in a way. I mean, it did happen to me, actually, many years ago when I was longlisted for a theatre company's writing group.
Enough.
But someone inside the theatre told me secretly, you're not being shortlisted because you're white. And I just thought, OK, well, that's weird, but OK. But now that seems like that's quite a normal thing. And I suppose the problem is, it might sound like you're complaining or say, oh, poor white people, poor white males can't get work. It does, on the face of it, sound a bit ridiculous, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, look, I mean, after this happened, I started a podcast. I started filming videos every day. I built my career up on the internet. I pulled in 6 figures last year. I mean, but that's not what it's about. It's about everybody gets a fair shot. And there's this notion people have to stop biting on these ideas of reverse racism or reverse discrimination. These are made up words that, you can't find in a law book. There's no mention of that. It's
but activists would say that, well, racism, you can't be racist towards white people because white people are the privileged, powerful group, right?
Sure. They also say men can have babies and there's 1,000 pronouns. These are all made up things. They're not real. They're made up. And so this is just another one of them that got caught up in that sort of woke circus. And I'm not speaking up for white people or men or anybody. I just am putting my foot down and saying, I am not going to stand for this anymore because, this is my life. I get one go at this. I'm not going to. They want you to sit down and shut up and sacrifice yourself. And I would say to them, well, you do it. You sacrifice your job or your life. They're not going to.
So this is why you're not settling, because you think this is actually about a bigger principle. And I suppose you hope that this might set a precedent to change things, do you think?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I can't really speak to the settlement or what's moving forward with the lawsuit quite yet. But yeah. I mean, I'll take the hit. It's fortunately I don't have to go to war. I'm too short and I have flat feet. But I was waiting for somebody else to stand up, and it's not happening. And so I'll do it. And I waited until I had my own career, so I can tour and sell out clubs. And I wanted to wait to make sure that I wasn't playing the victim card or that it looked that way. It's just this is just the law, and anybody's welcome to use it if they have evidence.
Well, that's it. I mean, the woke movement has become so widespread, but a lot of this stuff hasn't been tested legally. And often what you find that when it is tested legally, it doesn't stand up. And it turns out that, oh, well, it is illegal to discriminate on the basis of race after all. Oh, what a mistake we made, So hopefully this will work. Are you optimistic that things will change? Do you think we're just in this kind of weird rut at the moment where this sort of ideology is completely dominating the industry and that actually will come out of it eventually?
Yeah, I think the tide has actually already turned, but people haven't caught up with it. I think they've hit a wall. They've gone as far as they could with the craziness. The tide is actually turning back, and people have a choice to swim with it at this point and just start saying what they think, because free speech is free and it's a fundamental right. And so yeah, I absolutely. I mean, I stopped watching all of the streaming channels and all those shows, and a lot of people are. And that's why Netflix is standing up and saying, if you're super woke, you might not want to work here. The capitalism in the end is going to make the decision. And that's why I'm selling out. And a lot of comedians who are speaking out or just telling jokes, how it used to be 10 years ago.
Well, I think it's a really important thing that you're doing. Tyler Fisher, thanks very much for joining me.
Thanks a lot.
We did contact AGI Entertainment for a comment, so this is what a spokesperson told us. While we can't comment on active litigation, we're proud to represent a roster of artists who we work with based solely on their talent.